Alright, good day. It's Saturday morning here. Today's project is on a 2008 Mercedes-Benz CLS550. The problem is that the expansion tank for the radiator is damaged, so we're going to go ahead and replace that part. Alright, so here's the part here. Just arrived yesterday. Here's the replacement tank. I try to order OE original equipment here for this car. Oftentimes you'll have remanufactured aftermarket equipment that can be substandard. Certainly want to make sure the part I'm replacing is going to hold up and meet the standards here. It's just a expansion tank, contains the fluid, and this actually has the sensor. In this case I determined that shopping online there were different price ranges, different qualities, and some were equipped without the sensor. The sensor will send the signal to the computer through a wiring harness whether the level is low here in this particular unit. In the existing part, this plastic here, this area, this nipple here, the plastic became all brittle and it just broke off. And obviously the radiator, the cooling system, is a pressurized system, and over time it's only going to present a problem. The new unit did not come with a cap. I'm going to use the existing cap on my existing unit, and that's what we're going to do. Now separately, since the expansion tank contains coolant, I went ahead and got this suction gun here so I can go ahead and remove as much of the existing fluid out of the current tank to avoid any kind of leakage on the driveway. Get as much of that fluid out of there before I perform the replacement. It's just simply a pump gun here that has pretty good capacity, and then I can go ahead and offload this or pour it into another bottle. So we gotta go ahead and pop the trunk, so let's go ahead and get that done, or pop the hood actually. And here is the existing unit. You can see here, right where the hose enters, all this plastic here broke away. I discovered this after I had replaced the fuel pump and was putting everything back together here under the hood after some other service had been done. And I'm like, okay, well, that's got to go. So it's a pretty simple repair here. There's a couple of just like a rivet here. There's a hose that's connected towards the bottom, and not a whole lot else to it. I want to make sure the task is performed when the car is cool, obviously, so there's not going to be any hot water or fluid or pressure or steam when you open the cap. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take this suction gun here. Going to attach the hose to the end. Very simple here. This again is to remove the existing fluids from the radiator expansion tank. So make sure that the hose is seated, and it's pressurized. As you extract the handle, it pulls the fluid, draws the fluid in, and lets you know how much you have in terms of cc's or ounces. Capacity is 17 ounces or 538 cc's. Go ahead and put this remove fluid into this other bottle that's been rinsed, just for temporary storage. Go ahead and go at it again here. Get as much of this fluid out of here to avoid, again, leakage prior to the replacement. Obviously, if we hadn't removed it this way, when the bottom hose is unclipped, this fluid will all drip out. Alright, I'm going to get a second container here. Try to get all that out of there as best you can. You can always put a drip pan underneath the car to capture any additional fluid. That's probably all I'm going to get. Set these aside. Of course, this might also be a good time to just go ahead and simply flush the radiator, refill it, but that's not what we're going to do here today. Alright, now to remove this reservoir here, among other things, there's a little plastic rivet type mechanism here at the top. I'm going to use a combination of techniques to get this off here. I don't really care about the old reservoir. That's going. I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver and try to, pry it back and forth. This little arm here is already broken from the old reservoir, so I'm just going to kind of force this here. I've also got needle nose pliers to try to work it. Not a big fan of these little plastic rivets here because they can easily break, but just want to be able to use it on the new unit, and I don't care about the old unit, so I'm going to pry it back and forth and kind of get it out of here. Okay. Alright, I got this little rivet out. It wasn't too elegant, but here's how it is here. The little pin in the center, you should be able to pry it upward. It kind of works like an expansion anchor in concrete. Okay. So you pull that up, and then the bottom part will compress and allow it to come back out through the hole, and then when you push it back in again, it will push it outward underneath the assembly and kind of keep everything in place. So I'm going to hold on to that for later. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just remove this upper hose here. There's also down below, there's the sensor harness, right? So that's got to be disengaged as well. Might be a clip there, I'm sure. But, I'm going to see, we might be able to leverage this unit up because it sits, aside from being connected to the hose at the bottom, it sits in a couple of grommets. So I might be able to just leverage it up a little bit so I have better access. Okay, and it's already released itself from the grommet. I can feel it. Alright, you don't want to pull too hard because there's a radiator hose at the bottom that's still connected, but the unit is basically, it's free. Alright, I'm going to check out the wiring harness at the front. I should be able to disengage that. Check the new part just to see how that connects in. this might require the sensitivity of a bare hand. Alright, something else I did here is I removed the intake here to give a better access over here. Okay, so now we can better see the level sensor as well as the lower hose, the clip that we need to remove and loosen, and we should be able to hopefully disengage the wiring harness or the level sensor, and I'll need to free my hand up again. Okay, there we go. Alright, great. So now it's just contending with that clip at the bottom that's probably seized on over the years. Need to loosen it up, pry that hose off, and then prepare the new unit to go into position. Channel lock pliers might work good for the purpose here. This is the best I've got right now. Kind of work it over that nipple, that flange. That's the idea. Alright, we're getting it there. There we go. Okay. Keep in mind, you might lose some fluid here out of the hose, out of the reservoir when you remove the hose, so just be mindful of that. Ease it up a little bit more. Also check the hose, the existing hose, for cracks. If it's brittle, you might want to replace it at this time. Okay, just gonna work that hose off. There we go. Okay, here we go. Alright, watch out, it is full of fluid here, so you might want to keep everything elevated. Alright, it might be an opportunity here to take some shop wraps, rags, or paper towels and clean out underneath where the replacement part is going to go. Also check the grommet holes. There should be rubber bushing or gasket or grommet in each of the holes where the unit goes. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and sponge this up a little bit. Alright, ready to put the new unit in. Just keep in mind the location of the connections here. The wiring harness goes here to the level sensor. The radiator hose goes here. Okay, these two portions go right into the grommets. This is where the upper hose goes, and this is where you secure it with that little rivet mechanism. So we're going to go ahead and connect the lower hose. Just work it in there. Make sure the hose is firmly seated. Okay, good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and work the clip into position here over the flange. So it's securing it in place. It's a pressurized system. I'll make sure everything is secure. Go ahead and loosen the clip and walk it up over the flange. Careful you don't puncture or rupture the hose at all. And I'm using a crappy pair of pliers here, so. Alright, there we go. Alright, go ahead and then connect the wiring harness, level sensor back. Okay, let me get the camera over there. Okay, so you see a little bit better here. Wiring harness, make sure it clips all the way in, seated. Okay, alright, I'll try to show you where those little posts sit. You see you've got a grommet in the front, one in the back. Make sure you line up the pegs right in the center of those posts. Also check the front. You want to make sure that that little tab is right over the hole where that little rivet goes. You want to push the unit down. It should kind of give you acknowledgement, snap into place. Okay. Alright, now that it's in place, I'm going to go ahead and put the little rivet back in. Make sure the little pin is extracted out. Okay, center it. And we're going to go ahead and push it in. Again, I'm going to need to free my hand up in order to do so. Don't lose a part here. And when that's done, we're going to go ahead and connect the final hose here. And then we're going to fill. Alright, once it's already seated, then you just want to push the pin in, and that's going to go ahead and cause the portion that's through the hole to expand, thus holding it in place. Okay, there we go. Give you a close-up there what the finished product should look like. There you go, it's seated. So make sure the unit is secure. Let's go ahead and connect the hose. Okay, you want to make sure it snaps in, locks in firmly, and it should have some give here. This is how it's designed. It's designed to have some give. I'm going to go ahead and replace the intake hose now, and we should be in business.